5 zodiac signs that carry the heavy cross of destiny. There are souls who have been given a special burden since birth. Not karma, destiny, not punishment, purpose. They carry a heavy cross, invisible to others, but felt by every cell. Their path is not easy. These are the signs in whose blood flows trial, strength, and an internal struggle that is not visible from the outside. The 5 zodiac signs are 5 guardians of the ancient power that they carry through pain, loss, betrayal, and internal wars. Their life path is the path of a soul tempered in fire. They encounter what others run from, but it is through this that they discover depth, wisdom, and strength that is inaccessible to others. Who are they? Who lives with the feeling that they are carrying something more than just their life? Perhaps you will recognize yourself in the first minutes. Look carefully, because understanding your destiny is the first step to its liberation. And if you feel that this voice, this truth is close to you, if you are looking for depth that cannot be found in ordinary words, subscribe to the channel. Here you can hear knowledge transmitted through time. Are you ready to find out who has been given this burden? Then listen, and remember, nothing is given for free, but behind the darkness there is always strength. The first sign is Scorpio. Scorpio, like no one else, is familiar with the weight of fate, which hangs like an invisible burden on his shoulders. The inner world of this sign is a place of constant trials, where every battle, every struggle seems to bring not only victory, but also a wound. But it is these wounds that become his strength. Behind every look, behind every action, there is a story of pain, loss, and overcoming. The representative of this sign feels a heavy cross of fate on himself, which does not give peace, but at the same time tempers the spirit. Scorpio is the one who experiences the most terrible moments of life, but always gets back on his feet. This sign often finds himself in difficult situations where others would have given up long ago. Problems that seem overwhelming for most become a normal part of the path for Scorpio. He is not afraid of the dark corners of his soul, but on the contrary, he strives to look into them, to find out what is hidden behind the veil of fear and pain. And in this search, he finds not only his true self, but also wisdom that cannot be gleaned from halcyon days. The fate of Scorpio is not just trials, it is a constant rebirth. He faces situations that destroy his usual life, but it is precisely this destruction that becomes the basis for his rebirth. Scorpio bears the weight of his secrets and experiences, but it is through this weight that he finds the path to the light. His strength is not in the ability to avoid pain, but in the ability to go through it, emerging with renewed strength. These trials, although excruciating, ultimately make him stronger, wiser, and more unbending. Every day for Scorpio is not just living through time. It is a struggle for his soul, for the right to be himself in this world full of temptations and destruction. His cross of fate is not only his personal losses, but also responsibility for those who are nearby. Scorpio feels that he must not only survive, but also protect those who are close to him. This is one of the heaviest burdens, but also his greatest strength. He is always ready to take on more than he can bear, and this is what distinguishes him from others. The second sign is Taurus. Taurus, like no one else, knows what it means to bear the heavy cross of fate. The strength of this sign lies not in its ability to quickly cope with difficulties, but in its steadfastness and perseverance. Taurus is the one who, despite all the storms that rage around, continues to follow his path, without deviating from the intended goal. His cross is a constant desire for stability and comfort, which he has to seek in a world full of instability. Taurus finds it difficult to accept change, and he always wants his life to be predictable and safe. But fate, like life, is not always what he would like. Taurus often finds himself in a situation where he needs to fight for his safety, for his territory, for his right to peace. But it is this struggle that makes him strong. Fate never gives him an easy path, and every step of his ascent seems incredibly difficult. Taurus often has to face deception, betrayal, and disappointment. However, despite this, he does not give up. He knows that one day, having gone through all the trials, He will find his world, a world where it will be cozy and calm. Taurus has an incredible ability to recover from defeats. It is sometimes difficult for him to understand why life is so cruel, but he always finds the strength to move on. Taurus cannot be broken. He does not look for easy solutions, does not try to escape from his problems. He faces them face to face and solves them. This often makes his life difficult and full of trials, but it is through these trials that Taurus is doomed to success. His heavy cross of fate is to learn to be flexible in this world where everything changes. However, it is this fortitude and tenacity with which Taurus moves through life's storms that make him the greatest winner. He can't always cope with circumstances, but he always finds a way to overcome them while remaining true to his principles. The third sign is Virgo. Virgo, like many other signs, faces difficult challenges, but her cross is the constant need to be perfect in this imperfect world. A representative of this sign often feels that she must justify not only herself, but also the expectations of other people. Virgo's fate often develops in such a way that she has to fight not only external circumstances, but also internal demons, with self-criticism, with the constant feeling that she is not good enough. Virgo bears a heavy burden of responsibility for everything that happens around her. She always strives for perfection and sees the world as it should be, and not as it is. This feeling of tireless striving for the best, for the ideal, creates internal tension, which becomes her heavy cross. She constantly worries that her efforts are not enough, and that she does not live up to the expectations placed on her. This internal conflict becomes part of her fate, and she cannot avoid it. However, it is this cross that makes Virgo strong. Her constant desire to improve and improve herself brings her great fruits, although these fruits often remain invisible to others. Virgo knows the value of each of her efforts, and her path is a path of careful, painstaking work. Despite the weight of the burden, she always continues to move forward, because she understands that only through work can one achieve true success. Her fate will not always be easy, and she will face many internal and external trials. But it is through this heaviness that Virgo finds her inner light. Her cross is her strength, and her strength is her ability to see not only shortcomings, but also opportunities for growth. With each step, she becomes stronger, wiser and more self-confident. The fourth sign is Capricorn. The heavy cross of Capricorn's fate is forged from silence, responsibility and eternal ascent. His path is not just a path upward, it is a climb up an icy slope, where each step requires willpower, inner discipline and the rejection of weaknesses. Destiny does not give him any indulgences from birth. He is often the one who first encounters maturity. At an early age he bears responsibility, makes decisions, restrains emotions. His soul is like an old mountain. It does not thunder, but holds entire civilizations on itself. He is not allowed to relax, because he was born with a mission, to be a support in chaos. The inner world of Capricorn is a stone fortress. There is no place for hysterics, complaints, doubts. He knows that you can only count on yourself. He does not ask for help, not because he does not need it, but because he has heard refusal too often. His heavy cross is waiting. He waits for years, sometimes decades, until life gives him what others get quickly. But when it gives forever. His rewards are eternal, but the path to them lies through losses, overcoming loneliness. He is not afraid of pain, but does not show how much it penetrates him. His restraint is not indifference, but a way to survive. Often he becomes that very person on whom you can rely. But this is also his punishment. No one thinks that Capricorn can get tired. No one notices when he breaks down. He silently drags fate, his own and others. And if one day he leaves, then forever. Because he does not tear, he cuts off. He does not scream. He is silent so that silence becomes louder than all words. In love, Capricorn also bears a heavy cross. It is difficult for him to trust. He checks, evaluates, doubts for a long time. But if he loves, it is not a passion, but a choice. Not a flash, but an oath. His feelings are deep, but rarely visible. He does not know how to ask for attention. He just waits to be noticed, understood, and stayed. And more often than not, he is misunderstood. His partners do not always see the strength that he gives without words. And he suffers in silence, continuing to be a support, even when his soul is in cracks. Financial stability does not come to him easily either. He can work for years without seeing results, testing fate for strength. And only then, slowly, in parts, does the reward come. His mission is not only to earn money, but also to build a foundation on which others can stand. His cross is to build when everyone gives up, to be strong when everyone cries, to rise when everyone lies. He goes slowly, but indestructibly, and therefore his path is difficult, but great. The fifth sign, Aries. The fiery soul of Aries comes into this world not for rest, but for battle. His heavy cross of fate is an eternal struggle, with circumstances, with the system, with other people's boundaries, and most often, with himself. His soul knows no peace. He is born with an inner knowledge that he must be the first. But no one tells him how hard it is to be the first. He always has to go where no one has been, break through walls with his forehead, stumble and get up faster than he fell. His life is a battlefield where they do not give him a break. The fate of Aries is full of challenges. He is rarely lucky. His fire attracts difficult situations, difficult people, trials that break others. But he cannot be broken, because Aries does not give up. His inner motor does not allow him to stop. Even when the heart is broken, even when the body is exhausted, even when all the doors are closed, he goes on. His cross is the impossibility of stopping. He burns, and often, burns out. But it is in this combustion that he is purified and reborn, stronger than before. It is difficult for him to be understood. Aries is perceived as assertive, stubborn, sometimes even cruel. But no one sees how much pain he holds inside. His harshness is from not being heard. His anger is from a deep sense of injustice. He does not know how to be quiet when there is a hurricane inside. His soul is too honest to be silent, and too proud to ask. Therefore, he fights alone. Often, against the world, more often, against himself. In love, he longs for passion, honesty, devotion. But his flaming heart often falls to those who are afraid of heat. He gives everything, but wants the same in return. And this rarely happens. His partners may not cope with his strength, with his intensity. And then he suffers, not from loss, but from betrayal of his trust. His cross is to love not halfway. And if his love is not accepted, he turns it to ashes in order to move forward again. Alone, he faces constant setbacks in his business and career. Everything seems to be going well, but at the last moment it collapses. They are testing him. Will he break? He learns to win, not only with strength, but also with wisdom. And if once his path is fire, then later it becomes a flame that shines and does not burn. His cross of fate is to learn to control his strength without losing sincerity. He is not born for peace. He is born to kindle the path for others. His path is difficult, but he is the only one who is able to walk it with his head raised and his heart burning.